In the dust-choked heart of America's Great Depression, where shadows of desperation loomed over barren farms and empty banks, a dapper gentleman with a disarming smile orchestrated heists that drained vaults of millions, earning him the crown as the Dean of American bank robbers. Harvey Bailey, the enigmatic outlaw who rubbed shoulders with legends like Pretty Boy Floyd and Machine Gun Kelly, pulled off daring escapes that mocked the iron grip of justice, only to spend decades caged in the nation's most unforgiving fortresses. His piercing gaze hid a life of calculated risks and unbreakable resolve. But how did this West Virginia farm boy become a criminal mastermind, and what tragic twilight awaited him after the bars finally parted? Delve into the intrigue, the betrayals, and the unyielding spirit of a man who robbed not just banks, but the era's fragile illusions of security. The story of Harvey Bailey begins in the modest hills of Jane Lew, West Virginia, where he was born John Harvey Bailey on August 23, 1887, into a family rooted in post-Civil War resilience. His father, a Union captain turned farmer, relocated the family to Sullivan County, Missouri in 1900, seeking fertile ground amid rolling prairies. The Bailey homestead was a simple wooden farmhouse surrounded by acres of corn and tobacco, where young Harvey and his siblings learned the grind of agrarian life, plowing fields at dawn, tending livestock under relentless sun, and enduring winters that tested endurance. Schooling was basic in a one-room rural schoolhouse where Harvey absorbed lessons in arithmetic and history up to his early teens, showing a keen mind but little enthusiasm for books. Instead, he thrived outdoors, forming bonds with neighborhood boys through fishing in nearby creeks and roughhousing games that honed his sturdy build. Personality-wise, Harvey emerged as affable and ambitious, with a charming smile that masked a restless spirit. Friends recalled him as reliable and quick-witted, often leading adventures in the woods, dreaming aloud of escaping farm drudgery for bigger horizons. Influences came from his father's war stories, instilling patriotism and grit, while the era's railroad boom whispered promises of mobility. At 18, in 1905, Harvey left home to work as a railroad fireman on the Chicago, Rock Island, and Pacific Line, shoveling coal from Council Bluffs to Fort Dodge, Iowa, a grueling job that built his 6-foot frame and mechanical savvy. He married Maddie in 1907, settling into domestic life in Fort Dodge, with no children but aspirations of stability. Struggles arose with the monotony of labor and economic fluctuations, fostering a mindset that viewed opportunity as fleeting. World War I service loomed, but Harvey avoided the draft, focusing on steady pay. Yet underlying tensions, resentment toward rigid work hierarchies and whispers of prohibition's illicit riches planted seeds of rebellion, transforming a dutiful son into a man eyeing shortcuts in a world that rewarded the bold. As Prohibition's shadows lengthened in 1919, Harvey Bailey's foray into crime began innocuously with bootlegging in dry states like Iowa and Nebraska, smuggling liquor across borders for quick profits that outshone railroad wages. Arrested for possessing safe-cracking tools, he jumped bond and vanished, adopting the alias Tom Brennan in Minot, North Dakota, a reinvention that masked his growing audacity. Crimes escalated to bank robberies, starting small in rural North Dakota around 1921, netting $5,000 with accomplices in swift, non-violent hits. Reputation burgeoned as the Dean of American bank robbers, his dapper suits and calm demeanor belying ruthless efficiency. Major events included the 1922 Denver Mint heist, where his gang ambushed a Federal Reserve truck for $200,000, though a guard's death haunted the haul. Laundering through St. Paul's Daniel Hogan, Bailey refined operations, striking banks in Indiana, Minnesota, Wisconsin, Ohio, Iowa, and Michigan, amassing over $1 million by the late 1920s. Turning points amplified infamy. Collaborations with Pretty Boy Floyd and Alvin Karpis in the 1932 Fort Scott, Kansas robbery, $32,000, and hiding Fred Killer Burke after the St. Valentine's Day Massacre. Uncovered FBI files reveal shocking truths. A lone wolf who avoided murder but orchestrated precision strikes, like the $2.8 million Lincoln, Nebraska securities grab in 1930. Falsely tied to the 1933 Kansas City Massacre and Urschel kidnapping, despite alibis, Bailey's network frayed under federal scrutiny. Arrested golfing in Kansas City on July 6, 1932, with fugitives Holden and Keating, he faced conviction for Fort Scott, sentenced to 10 to 50 years. Yet his legend peaked with a daring 1933 escape from Kansas State Penitentiary, robbing more banks before recapture, embodying the era's outlaw defiance amid economic despair. Harvey Bailey's empire crumbled with his 1933 recapture in Ardmore, Oklahoma, after a dramatic escape from Dallas County Jail, where he sawed bars and kidnapped a jailer. Convicted for the Urschel kidnapping, despite innocence, framed by associations, he received a life sentence funneled into the federal system. Transferred to Leavenworth Federal Penitentiary in Kansas, a massive brick fortress amid flat prairies, Bailey arrived in chains, processed amid echoing halls, and assigned to a cramped cell with iron bunks and chamber pots. Daily life ground on with chain gang labor, breaking rocks or farming under rifle-toting guards, meals of watery stew in silent mess halls, the 1930s atmosphere thick with despair and rigid discipline. Deemed manipulative and cunning, Bailey behaved as a model prisoner on the surface, earning privileges like library access, but his restless spirit simmered. In 1934, as Alcatraz opened, he became one of its inaugural inmates, number 102, ferried across San Francisco Bay's treacherous waters to the fog-shrouded Rock. Cells were stark, concrete walls, steel cots, sinks dribbling cold water, regimen unyielding. 6:30 a.m. reveille, silent marches, workshop toil weaving mats under catwalk patrols. Interactions with legends like Al Capone marked his time. Bailey protected the boss from attacks, earning scars and respect, while steering clear of uprisings. No successful escapes, though whispers of plots lingered. Transferred back to Leavenworth in 1946, then Seagoville in 1960, his health waned amid damp chills and isolation's toll, leading toward a parole that promised fragile redemption. Harvey Bailey's saga closed not in chains, but in quiet obscurity. Paroled from federal custody in 1962 at age 75, returning to Kansas State Penitentiary to complete his bank robbery sentence before full release in 1964. Settling in Joplin, Missouri, he remarried Esther Farmer in 1966, a widow tied to the Kansas City Massacre, living modestly as a carpenter and furniture maker, far from the vaults he once plundered. Final days unfolded peacefully. On March 1, 1979, at age 91, he succumbed to heart failure in a Joplin hospital, buried alongside Esther in Forest Park Cemetery. Public reaction was subdued. Obituaries noted the passing of a relic from the outlaw era, with no fanfare but quiet admiration from true crime enthusiasts. History remembers Harvey Bailey as a legend, the dean of American bank robbers who outlived peers like Dillinger and Floyd, amassing fortunes without a confirmed kill, a misunderstood figure molded by depression desperation rather than innate evil. To some, a monster for terrorizing banks, to others, a folk hero of cunning defiance. His autobiography, Robbing Banks Was My Business, immortalizes a life of calculated risks and unyielding charm. In the end, Bailey's tale whispers a timeless truth. Even the boldest thieves cannot outrun time's relentless pursuit. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to our channel for more stories from the dark past of America's most notorious criminals.